be there. When we've been really hurt, we put layers of protection between ourselves and that hurt. And that's just nature doing its work. That's the way pearls are created. A little grain of sand finds its way into an oyster, and the mucus coats the sand to protect the oyster, and that mucus eventually becomes a layer of a pearl. But we're not pearls. We're living, breathing, alive souls that are free and not encased inside a hardened outer shell of a pearl. But nature does protect us that way. So the answer is, it depends on how many layers you built up to protect yourself during the time you were originally hurting. Okay, let's say somebody you loved left you, and it really, really hurt. And you couldn't deal with the totality of the emotion at that moment. So you protected yourself. But at some point, it will be safe for you to look at that emotion again, and then it will happen in an instant. Yeshua says all transformation happens in the twinkling of an eye. And so the real healing does happen instantaneously. But we all know that we have, especially those of us who are healers and counselors and doctors, we know that it's a gradual process creating safety for people to be there. Then when that safety exists and they're there, it's like that. It happens instantaneously. And I'm not asking that you, if you want to, if you feel this is your moment, you're invited to, but that's not what I'm asking you to experience in this exercise. I'm just asking you to share with each other some of these negative, like dramatize. Just be there and dramatize with each other. Grief. Dramatize with each other anger. And you'll feel how silly you feel with anger. And then you dramatize joy. And all of a sudden you feel like, wow, I'm not just pretending. And you'll see the difference. That's all I want you to see. I want you to share these emotions with each other so that you begin to see the difference in the authenticity factor related to these emotions. All of the negative emotions are just part of the survival agenda. It's just what nature created so you could get through identify a situation and get through it. Let's say a bear is on the path. Fear is appropriate. Okay? That's nature equipping you to behave appropriately to a situation. Let's say someone is harming a child. Instead of just saying, oh my God, you get angry. You say, hey, stop that right now. You intercept. Anger is a stop. It's an interception. Somebody is abusing you and you say, stop. I disallow that. That's nature equipping you with the signals necessary to survive. But as souls, survival is not what we're here to do. We're here to thrive. We're here to get to the deeper work. We're to get above just the survival signals and the survival issues. And so we need to learn what these are so that we can appropriately express them and then appropriately dismiss them and get on to the real work that we're here to do. Does that make sense? Because we are living a human life. And this side of the human experience is very real. But the negative side of the human experience is real but ephemeral. It does pass if we know how to help. But you've got to first of all see that you're not the problem. You actually go weak when you look at the problem. You don't go strong when you look at the problem. You go weak because it's not you. And if you really address it, it's like fairy candy. Now that doesn't mean that it tastes good immediately, because it might have a very bitter taste when you first look at it, and it might tend to invoke dramas as you open it up and look at it, and it might tend to get bigger momentarily, but as it gets bigger, it gets weaker, and it loses its hold over you. But But have you ever, let me show you this now. Have you ever started laughing, and then you just laughed more and you didn't need a reason to laugh? And you laughed more and more and you didn't need a reason to laugh? That's because you don't need a reason to be joyful. Have you ever been happy and you didn't know why? Because you don't need a reason. It's your birthright. You are in your love, in your goodness. It's your birthright to be happy. You don't need a reason. There doesn't have to be a story around it. With our negative stuff, once the story is gone, the negativity is gone. We think that our story created us. That's actually what we're told. We're told our story created us. We're the product of everything that's happened to us. We're the living product. Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, we need to turn that around so that we see that we are free to create a new story. And we are the creators of the story. And we can live without a story if we choose to. We don't even have to have one to be living a perfectly decent, fulfilled, meaningful, ecstatic life. And then, if we choose to, we can create a new story. But it's we creating the story, not it creating us. The most miserable people I know are the people who think that they are the products of their story. And this happens not just with people who've had tragic past. This can happen with some of the most depressed people I know are trust fund kids. They were born into fortunes. And that fortune led them to a prep school that their parents chose. And then they got to have this home that mom and dad left them. And they're not supposed to sell the home. But every now and then they can go to the family yacht and spend some time there. Or maybe to the family penthouse in New York and spend some time there. You would think this would be a Cinderella story. But it's not, because it's a story that created them. When your story creates you, you're not happy. I don't care if you have $1 billion, you're not happy. I don't care if you're with the most wonderful person in the world, and actually you could be overlooking the wonderful people that are around you and everything else wonderful around you if you think you're being created by your story. That's a wonderful way to wake up, is to realize your story didn't create you. But in order to wake up from that, you've got to have this authentic experience. I want you to have. So now go have it. Okay. Team up, get together, and I'll coach you through it. I'll